decision, last one and a courtesy call.
Hey guys, welcome back. Orbomb here, bringing you another episode of our Pokemon competitive analysis videos. Now, the last one I did was Tapu Koko. You guys blew that video up. Thank you guys so much for all the support there. And my next highly requested Pokemon was Alolan Marowak. Now, I had a lot of friends ask me to talk about this Pokemon. I have my personal opinions about this Pokemon. And Marowak was one of my favorite Gen 1 Pokemon, so it's cool to see Alolan Marowak thinning up. Looks like he's working out. His gut kind of went down a bit. He's a fire ghost type now. That man is boss, sharing that typing with Chandelure. And yeah, we're going to go over him. Now, the first thing we got to mention is Marowak has the unique item Thick Club. Thick Club doubles its attack. That's really all it does. I don't know why I made it sound like there's going to be more after that. But Thick Club doubles Marowak's attack. Now, we're going to go over his stats real quick. Marowak has a measly 80 attack, you know. Maxes out at 284, I think. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think it maxes out at 284. Let me pull a Marowak right here. I have a Marowak right here. As you guys know, we do all of my analysis videos live because I feel like it's more interesting to discover things with you guys rather than have a script ready. But yeah, so 284. Now, when you add a special little item called the Thick Club, you double the attack. Now, 284, it doesn't work quite as what most people would think. For instance, let me pull up a Pokemon that I know has a high attack stat. Kartana. Kartana over here has 181. Now, if you think about doubling a base stat, you usually think about, you know, actually, I don't know if this works out this way. Oh yeah, it definitely works out this way. As you can see, a Kartana with base 181 hits 507 with an adamant nature. All right, 507, pretty goddamn high. That's one of the highest attack stat Pokemon we have in the game. All right. Now, when you think Marowak, you think, oh, double this is only 160. That's not how base stat works. All right, double this. 284. I'm gonna do the math right now for you guys. I'm pulling it up on my phone. I wish I could screen share my phone with you guys, but 284 times 2 actually equals 568. 568. Let me let you seep that in. All right, 568, higher than this by 61 points. That is a ridiculously hard hitting Pokemon. So 9 times out of 10, run Thick Club on your Marowak, because this thing is meant to obliterate teams. All right. I'm gonna delete this because it's in the way of my Marowak video. Now let's go back to Marowak. All right, being a ghost fire type is actually really interesting. You do have quite a few weaknesses: water, ground, rock, ghost, and dark. But this is the Sun and Moon metagame, not the ORS metagame. Not everybody's running knockoff everywhere. Earthquake is kind of lowering in popularity because of Tapu Bulu, which has the grassy terrain, which reduces grass type damage, which I will be doing a Tapu Bulu video soon. It all depends on what you guys want me to do in the comment section down below, so please leave that below, as well as a like. All that good jazz. Forgot to do all that nonsense, but anyways. But it has some really key resistances, being Bug, which is big with U-turn, Steel, because everyone's running Steel type moves because of all the fairy types around. Fairy, because everyone's bringing fairies, so there's a lot of fairy types around. Poison, another reason why a lot of people are running. Another thing, same thing with Steel. Lots of fairy types around. Everyone's running poison type moves. Ice, which is, you know, already a really nice type to resist, because if you run things like Garchomp, Landorus, like in Post Bank or whatever like that, there's a lot of like Tapu Bulu, things like that. They all are weak to ice, so it pairs really nice with a lot of Pokemon. Grass, Tapu Bulu is huge, so being able to resist things like Wood Hammer is really nice. And fire, nothing notable with fire. People do Tekken Fire Blast for Celesteela and stuff like that, so it's nice to be that. And also, you are immune to normal. All right, you are immune to fighting, and this monster gets also the ability Lightning Rod, which means you are immune. Say it with me now: immune to Volt Switch and electric type moves, which means you resist U-turn, you're immune to Volt Switch. This thing is a great momentum killer. A lot of people are saying it's the best anti-meta Pokemon in the format right now, with Aegislash running around, all these Ultra Beast. I think this thing could hit, with its coverage, can hit every Ultra Beast for super effective. except maybe Guzzlord, but nobody's using Guzzlord. So this thing's a monster. It's really, really good. I actually have it in a lot of my really high ranked teams that I've been using the ladder in. Now, going over its other stats, he does have 60 HP with 110 defense, making it very, very physically defensive. And also because it's a fire type, he does have access to Will-O-Wisp, so it's a good thing to tech in there. It has 80 speed def, not bad at all, and 45 speed. Now, what's interesting about 45 speed is that you can outspeed a lot of things if you run a lot of speed investment. Your speed is 207 max. Now, you almost always want to be adamant with this Pokemon, because what's the point of having this Pokemon if you're not hitting as hard as you can? So 189 speed is not even that bad. I believe you outspeed base 60 Pokemon with that. Yes, you do. You outspeed Pokemon like Clefable who do not run speed investment to tank hits. You can outspeed it if you catch it on the switch with 2 Flare Blitz. You could probably KO it. I'll do some calcs in a second. What else? What's base 80? Let's say I get base 75. So we're going with base 75 speed. You speed tie. Oh no, you outspeed things that have base 75 speed. So it's really, really, really handy to know. So you can keep things like that in track, or you could just run straight bulk, kind of forget the speed because you are very slow. You could use it to maybe tank a hit and then do your maximum damage, or you can, you know, hit something hit something on the switch and then let them hit you and then hit them again. So my personal set right now is, I believe I run enough speed to outspeed. There's some specific Pokemon that I run that I do it for. I think it was, no, it's not Blissey. I don't remember what it was, but I'm pretty sure it was Celesteela. Yeah, I wanted to run just enough speed to hit like 159 so that you can outspeed things like Celesteela so they don't hit you with an EQ, and then I run the rest into HP. Makes it very, very, very tanky. This is a personal spread I like to run, and also you want to make this an odd number, and then you can put the rest into defense if you want to, or spit up. That one doesn't really matter as much. You want an odd number because you are weak to Stealth Rock. Some things that you can run with this Pokemon. Let's go over its moveset real quick. Alright, so Bone, it gets a lot of ground type moves because it is a, where is, okay, so this is not updated. So let's go to Cerebi, Alolan, Marowak, because that has its, I just want it to be, I want it to be spread out so you guys can see it. That one's not updated for the proper meta. So we got this right here. Its shiny is spectacular, by the way. I wonder if this thing is updated well enough. It's Gen 7. Alright, let's take a look at its attacks, right? Flame Wheel, Bone Meringue. You can run Bone Meringue, and it also gets access to Earthquake, which is really, really good. It has and the reason why you run Bone Meringue is specifically for Pokemon with subs. It gives you like a double chance to crit if you're going for that. It is 90 accuracy, so people usually go for Earthquake, but if your team kind of sucks against Substitute, I would recommend doing Bone Meringue. Will-O-Wisp is a great thing if you want to switch in things like defensive Garchomp, defensive Landorus, things that are going to do a lot of damage back to you. If you go for your offensive attacks, you can just go for Will-O-Wisp, catch them on the switch, reduce their damage, and then you can take advantage of that situation. Shadow Bone is a blessing. It's such a blessing. Shadow Bone does 85 damage and is a physical ghost type move with stab. And it has, I think, a 20% chance to lower defense. This is spectacular. You're usually not going to get a chance to take advantage of the defense stat lowering. But because this is an attack that you can easily predict and go for in case you think they're going to go into their fire resist, it's a very, very nice, extremely hard hitting attack. It gets things like Thrash, it's hard. Stomping Tantrum doesn't matter because you're going to run Earthquake. Flare Blitz is his bread and butter. Literally 120 base power coming from that massive attack stat, going to decimate anything that comes in your way. I do really like Flare Blitz. It's either Flare Blitz or Fire Punch. 100% recommended on this Pokemon. No, this is its other set that doesn't matter as much because you can't use those attacks. Alright, so TMs, it gets Toxic, so you know, Toxic is always a good attack to throw in on Pokemon. A lot of special attacks that don't really matter. Earthquake, as you can see, Return if you want to run Return. Brick Break fighting coverage is nice. Let's take a look. What else does he get? Rock Tomb, Rock Tomb's a really, really nice tech, because if you predict something to switch in and you want to make sure you outspeed it the following turn, say you're running a pretty decent amount of speed investment, you can predict the switch, go for the Rock Tomb, all right? And then when the Pokemon that just came in is slower than your Marowak, giving you a chance to hit it with whatever attacking options you want. So I actually really like Rock Tomb. I actually prefer this over Rock Slide. I know that mine runs Rock Slide, but I actually might have to change that to Rock Tomb. I do like Rock Tomb a lot. Let's see. Flame Charge, very interesting if you're the kind of person who likes to run Flame Charge. Predict the switch, same thing with Rock Tomb, but instead of slowing down your opponent and having different move coverage, you have Flame Charge, which is going to increase your speed, giving you a chance to outspeed your opponent the following turn. Now both of these options are very because like Flame Charge, Flame Charge only increases your speed by 1, and like usually you're going to be bringing in the thing that can counter the Pokemon, so it has a really good chance of surviving any attack it wants to. Same with Rock Tomb, but Rock Tomb does give you coverage to hit things like Flying type super effectively, so you can hit things that are, and Bug type, so specifically Araquanid. Araquanid does resist your Fire type move. You know, Flare Blitz does 180 after stab, so cut that in half, you're only doing 90, while Rock Tomb is going to be doing 120 damage. Then again, Shadow Bone's also hitting for that amount of damage, a little bit more because of stab, so it's meh. If you want to run Rock Slide for damage, you can do that instead. Brutal Swing, not very useful, because I know it's going to get knocked off at some point. We didn't mention Will-O-Wisp, it also gets Stone Edge if you want like more damage. I keep saying Rock Slide, but I know it gets Stone Edge. Substitute, if you predict a switch, same idea, you can get behind a sub. Although you don't have any recovery unless you're on Leftovers. On Leftovers is a completely different set that doesn't really focus on offensive. Other egg moves it gets, Belly Drum if you want to be absolutely insane. Parasong, which is really, really nice for VGC. Iron Head hits fairies, usually unnecessary, but it's an option. Can be decent against... What fairy types are there that resist your Shadow Bone and Flare Blitz? I can't think of any. What would it be? I guess Feeny, but then Feeny water resists steel. So when so never mind. Don't run Iron Head. Don't worry about the Z moves. You're never going to use them. Transfer only. So this is after the meta. This is after the Pokebank comes out. What's really interesting about Cubone is that you can have a Cubone from a previous generation, give it all of its transfer moves, so all of these attacks, and then transfer it up, take it to Alola, then evolve it. That way you have an Alolan Marowak with all of the moves that you could have gotten as a Cubone in ORAS in Hoenn. So it's really nice because it gets things like Power Punch is really good. It gets Fire Punch. It gets Knock Off, which is way better than the beating attack we just saw. Stealth Rocks, which is an amazing attack, as you can always run Stealth Rocks if you predict switch. It's a great Pokemon. It's actually an amazing Pokemon to run Stealth Rocks on because it forces switches. Like, it doesn't just predict switch. You force switches with a Pokemon like Cubone because people do not want to faint right away. Nothing else really noticeable. It does get Thunder Punch if you want to hit water types for super effective. I believe this one goes up to 150, which is harder than Stab Shadow Bone, so that works too. And yeah, that is Alolan Cubone. Let me go over some sets that I think would be really, really nice. So we're going to move this right back to Showdown. Now, a personal set that I run is Shadow Bone, Flare Blitz, with this spread, like I mentioned earlier, enough to outspeed Celesteela and tank a couple of hits while also having that maximum attack that you need. So Shadow Bone, Flare Blitz, Earthquake, because it lets you hit things like Toxapex, which is the poison water type. It does 2 KO Toxapex. And then this is a filler move. Depending on your team, you can run anything like Willow. Willow's really, really nice. You can run Stone Edge. Stone Edge hits bug types, hits things that are flying, hits them really, really hard. So things like Mandibuzz, for instance, and also is a non-contact move, which is big because everyone's running Rocky Helmet to beat Marowak. So Stone Edge is things that hits Mandibuzz, other bulky Pokemon like that resist your attacks or don't do as much, like Stone Edge. Let's calc Stone Edge from Marowak. So we got Marowak, Alola. We're gonna go ahead and just not worry about the bulk as much right now. We're gonna do Adamant. 252. We're gonna put in the thick club in 1 second, but we're gonna do Mandibuzz, which is actually really big as a defogger right now without the bank going around or going around. But let's give this thing Stone Edge. All right, so Stone Edge without it, that does a pretty decent amount. But if you can predict the switch in and you're holding the thick club, you are now doing an easy 2-hit KO. Say that this thing was max. So let's go ahead and make this thing max. All right, just max, no stealth rocks or anything like that. You're still hitting an easy 2-hit KO. That's without a crit either. So if it has like stealth rocks, if there's stealth rocks out and you get a crit, you always KO it out. You always knock it out. So this is a great Pokemon for that. Speaking of which, let me just get the rest of its moves. So Flare Blitz. Now the thing is, Flare Blitz is also a 2-hit KO, but you're taking Rocky Helmet damage and you're taking recoil damage, which is a little bit too much in my opinion. If you were to run Thunder Punch on this, I don't think Thunder Punch would be enough, but you're also still taking all that damage from Rocky Helmet and stuff like that, so you usually don't want this. Plus Stone Edge is still an easy 2-hit KO after leftovers too, so that's something to keep in mind also. Will-O-Wisp, what else? What other Pokemon are like super relevant right now? Let me just go down the list. Let me go down the top of the list. Tapu Koko. You know, I think I'm gonna switch this to this set because it has like preset stats. So give me 1 second, guys. Where is it? Pokemon. Is it here? Here it is, Nugget Bridge. Alright, so hopefully that loads real quick like. Alright, so we're gonna give it Marowak, Common Showdown, form. Is there a form button? Maybe we have to click Alola. Marrow. Oh, I think this is just the no, this one says typo. Hold up. Fire. Ghost. Boom. Alright, Bone Meringue. There we go. Standard set versus things like Tapu Koko. Alright. If you can, like, things that can't switch in to a Tapu Koko. Imagine this being earthquake damage. Can't switch in. Flare Blitz, easy. Celesteela, who's actually very, very, very big right now in the OU metagame. Flare Blitz, you can't switch in. It's very, very simple. You just can't switch in. That's max HP. If you were max defense, you probably still couldn't switch in because this thing's an absolute beast. Yep, absolutely. Like, bold won't change it that much. Other things. What else? What else is big? Let's go ahead and just like post bank. Let's see how much it does to a defensive. I'm gonna make this defensive because as you can see, you can't switch in a Scarflanders to this. Not at all. But if you were to go ahead and make this Pokemon defensive, bold. All right. That's after Stealth Rocks and a little bit of prior damage, you 2-shot that thing too. And if you have Bulu on the field, Earthquake does not do this much. And this is the damage it does with just max HP. All right. So like this thing is pretty fat. Now, obviously, if you don't have any HP, if you go the max speed route, you have a chance of being knocked out. But with the let's go ahead and say Grassy Terrain Up has a chance to not 2-shot you. I mean, obviously it will after the Flare Blitz damage, but it doesn't knock you out in one hit. So this Pokemon is an amazing Pokemon. That's pretty much as fat as you're gonna get for walls. We can go in Toxapex and show you guys that. Fizdef Toxapex takes. I'm gonna change this to Earthquake just so it's easier to understand. But yeah. Earthquake 45 to 54 from max physically defensive Toxapex. A little bit of prior damage, boom, easy knockout. Stealth Rocks up, boom, easy knockout. This monster is a monster by every way possible. It's a monster. This thing is ridiculous. Now, there's this other set that people have been going with a lot lately. It's the Spadef set. I believe PokeAMMD, very, very big Pokemon competitive YouTuber, talked about this set. He put leftovers on it. He put a lightning rod, of course, and he just put things like willow, fire punch, I think. Yeah, I know it wasn't flare blitz because he didn't want to take recoil. Fire punch, shadow bone, and some other, like, just some other attacks, coverage moves. And that's because this thing has a really great potential of switching into a lot of Tapus, or not Tapus, a lot of Ultra Beast. If we go down the list right now, a little bit of spoilers for those that haven't beaten the game. So I'm going to go all the way down. This is the Pokedex. Alright, we're going to go to the bottom of the Pokedex. Here's all the Tapus. Pheromosa, bug fighting, can't touch it. Buzzwole, bug fighting, can't touch it. Xurkitree, electric, can't touch it. Celesteela, steel flying, can't touch it. Kartana, grass steel, can't touch it. Guzzlord can. Those are the Ultra Beasts. Oh yeah, Nihiligo also can. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Five of the best Pokemon to come out of Generation 6. That's only those two. Magearna, can't touch it. A lot of the Tapus, Tapu Bulu, can't touch it. Tapu Koko, can't touch it. There's a lot of really, really good Pokemon that came out this generation that simply cannot beat it with their stat moves. They have to run coverage. This thing runs Earthquake, which will, I'm not gonna lie, Earthquake does a lot, so you're gonna have to Wisp it, but you can potentially outspeed it if you run enough speed investment, because Tapu or Buzzwole only has base 79 speed. So if they don't run any speed, you can outspeed it. Pheromosa will be running coverage options. A lot of them are running HP Ground right now to deal with Aegislash as well. Xurkitree, there's not a lot of move options that Xurkitree has. They're usually running HP Ice to hit ground types, or specifically Garchomps, because they have Energy Ball to hit most ground types. Celesteela, they usually have to go with the Leech Seed Protect option to stall you out and let you knock yourself out to what's it called? To Flare Blitz. But this set doesn't run Flare Blitz, if I'm correct. I don't know if you can actually not have if you have Fire Punch without the bank, but I'm talking post bank here. All right, you can will with so many things. You can Shadow Bone, Fire Punch, and Earthquake, because even uninvested 196 attack, it's still almost 400 attack. That's huge for a Pokemon. Oh, I mean, if you run the Thick Club, 196 is still respectable. Not too bad. You can get off some damage with that, and then you just proceed to switch in and use it as a pivot. Now, I don't like this set too much because you're weak to Stealth Rocks. You get whittled down very easily because your leftovers is not healing you enough, and you're grounded, so you're also weak to spikes, and you still have very easy coverage that can beat you down, and you're not knocking things out. So I personally don't like this set. A lot of people love it. I don't like it, and a lot of people are realizing lately that it's not a terribly good set, which is why you haven't been seeing it as much. I think that if you're going to go Marowak, at least in singles play, this is the way to go. And of course, this last move can be substituted with whatever you want, but definitely these three attacks right here. And I think it's been a 23-minute video already, so I think we're gonna call it there. I really like Marowak. I'm so glad it got the respect it deserves, making it finally not just viable, but extremely viable. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to drop a like, subscribe, share, all that good jazz. If you have any suggestions for Pokemon I should cover, leave them down below. I'm doing this for you guys and for me. We're doing it all together. And yeah, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.